Let's get learning with Santino.
Hi everyone, I'm Santino, and today we are working like mathematicians by using reasoning to solve a challenge. We're going to play a fun game called Splat by Steve Wyborney. Play along with a whiteboard and marker or a paper and pencil. So, let's get learning! I'm about to show you a random collection of dots, and you need to work out how many there are. Maybe you'll see some smaller chunks to help you. It's going to be for a very short amount of time. So are you ready? Here they come. What did you see? Pause it here and on your whiteboard, draw the dots and how you saw them. Have you drawn the dots the way that you saw them? How many did you see? Is this what you saw? 5? Great! Now I'd like to ask you, how did you see the dots to know that there were 5 so quickly? Did you maybe see smaller chunks and then quickly put them together? Share your thinking with a friend. Have you shared some ideas? Let's have a look at some of the different ways you might have seen the 5 dots in smaller chunks. Maybe you saw it's like 5 on a die, but a bit wonky. Perhaps you saw 3 with 1 either side. Or maybe you saw a triangle and 2 more dots. And there are other ways you might have seen 5 as well. Okay, it's time for a challenge. Let's look at the 5 dots again because it's time to play Splat. Look at the dots and splat. How many dots are under the splat? How do you know? Can you work this out without counting all the dots? Pause it here and have a think. Let's use reasoning and think about what we already know. Let's use reasoning to solve this challenge without counting the dots. Now, how many dots were there at the start? There were 5. Now, some people saw that there was like a triangle and then 2 more dots on top. Well, here are the dots on top, so what could be under the splat? The triangle? So would that be 3? Let's look. Yes, look at that. 3 dots were covered. And we've used reasoning to find the solution. Well done! How else could you know that there are 3 under the splat? We could use different reasoning to work it out. Maybe you know number combinations that make 5. So if we know that there are 5 dots and we can only see 2 dots, how many would be under the splat? 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 dots. How else could you know that there were 3 under the splat? Well, what else do we know? We know that the dots look like the 5 dots on a die, just a little bit wonky. So we could imagine the dots that are missing. 1, 2, 3. That's another way we could know that there are 3 under the splat. How else could you know? Okay everyone, it's time to rub your boards clear. We are going to have another round. I'm going to show you some more dots. Are you ready? It's going to be quick. Here they come. What did you see? Pause it here and on your whiteboard, draw the dots and how you saw them. Have you drawn the dots that you saw? How many did you see this time? Is this what you saw? 6? Okay, well how did you see them? And how did you know that there were 6 so quickly? Did you see some chunks and then you quickly put them together? Quickly circle the chunks that you saw and share your ideas with a friend. Have you shared some ideas? Let's have a look at some ways you might have seen 6 dots in smaller chunks. Maybe you saw 3 dots making a line and 3 more dots making a line, like 2 groups of 3. Did you see that it's like 6 on a die, but a bit wonky? Or perhaps you saw 4 on a die and 2 more. And as always, there are other ways to see 6. Okay, It's time to play Splat. Look at the dots and splat. How many dots are under the splat? How do you know? Can you work this out without counting the dots? Pause it here and have a think. Let's use reasoning and think about what we already know. Let's use reasoning to solve this challenge without counting all the dots. So what do we know? We started with how many dots? 6. Some people might have seen the 2 lines that each had 3 dots. Well, here is one line with 3 dots. So how many more to make this line of 3 dots? How else could we know? Let's find another way by using different reasoning. What do we know? Some people saw that there was a wonky 4 on a die at the bottom and then 2 more on top. So what's missing from the bottom chunk and what's missing from the top chunk? How else could we know what's under the splat? Any other reasoning? Who spotted that the dots looked like 6 dice dots but a little bit wonky? Well, let's imagine where the missing dice dots would be. How many to complete the 6 pattern? Okay, well that is a lot of reasoning, everyone. Well done. So how many dots do you think are under the splat? Let's find out if you're right. Yes, look at that. 2 dots were covered, and we've used reasoning to find the solution. Well done. Did you enjoy our game of Splat? Well, great work today, everyone. We've been working like mathematicians by using reasoning to solve a challenge. As you can see, counting is just one strategy that can help us. The more ways we can see numbers, the more ways we can solve problems and work like a mathematician. So, practice finding smaller chunks in numbers this week. Happy learning, everyone, and see you next time. Be sure to like and subscribe. There's lots more to see. Come back again soon for more learning with me.